side. You're looking to keep a slightly more erect posture to be able to fit the plane of the swing to the side of the hill. And remember that because you're on the side of the hill, the ball will probably hook, so you need to aim slightly to the right of the target to allow for the hook. Then you just go ahead and make a normal golf swing. Try it my way. The side hill lie with the ball below your feet is one of the most difficult shots in the game of golf. Let me show you why and what to do about it. First of all, if I were playing a shot with the ball above my feet, I could take the club and allow the sole of the club to fit the contour of the hill by moving up the hill. But with the ball below my feet, as I move the club up the hill to let the sole fit the contour of the hill, all of a sudden there's a point where I can only go so far, and the heel then gets in the way. So what I try to do to compensate for this is I try to keep as much weight as I possibly can on my heels and my middle body back as far as I can. This allows me to keep from falling down the hill. It also allows me to keep my head steady, which is going to have a natural tendency to fall out over the hill. And it allows me to bend my upper body to help fit the contour of the hill a little easier. Now, as I bend over, I also find that if I look down at the club, the angle of the face of the club is going to want to come in at such an angle as to produce a slice. So I should aim to the left of the target and just allow it naturally to happen. This is where I get the extra help that I've needed, in that by moving around on the hill, I'll be able to come up the hill with my swing a little bit more, and this will allow me to avoid, as much as possible, catching the heel of the club in the ground. So here's what it looks like. Weight back on the heels, bend over at the body, aim to the left of the target, keeping my weight back on my heels, keeping my head steady, and then a normal golf swing. Weight back on the heels, bend over at the body, aim to the left of the target, and then a normal golf swing. Produces a little fade, and hopefully goes somewhere near the target. When the average golfer plays a side hill lie with a ball below his feet, he generally finds himself losing his balance and hitting the heel of the club into the ground, and the result is a bad shot. Something like this. What I try to do is to fight all the natural tendencies and maintain good balance. I do that by keeping the weight on my heels, bending over from the waist, and trying as hard as I can to keep my head still. I aim to the left of the target to allow for the natural tendency for the ball to slice, and then I try to swing normally. I hope that helps you with one of the most difficult shots in the game of golf. Practicing. It's a waste of time unless you know how to practice or why you are doing it. I practice for 3 different reasons. The first is to warm up for a golf round. I might hit 15, 20, 25 shots, starting with a pitching wedge representing a short club, the short iron with the 8-iron, the middle iron, 5-iron, long iron, a 2-iron, and probably a driver, and then finish off with a few pitch shots. Now, the average golfer, he finishes work at 4 o'clock, he goes to the golf course, his buddies are saying, come on, let's get to the first tee. What does he do? He rushes to the first tee, he picks up a club, he hits it down the fairway, and he chases it around 9 holes of golf. What does he hit? Maybe 15, 20, 25 shots in 9 holes of golf? He's all warmed up, and then he goes in and has a drink. Well, obviously, it only takes about 5 minutes to warm up for a round of golf. So it doesn't take very long to go out there and just hit those few shots. And I think that's very, very important to understand what kind of swing you're going to use that day. Second method is when I'm not sure what I'm doing or I'm having a fault in my swing, then I go out and I start off trying to figure out what that fault is, but I start off with the basic fundamentals. I start with my grip, I start with my stance, I start with my posture, my ball position. 9 chances out of 10, it's a basic fundamental that has caused my problems, not something I'm really doing in my swing. My swing is not really going to change. The third method of practicing is when I'm trying to really groove a certain thing in my swing and make sure that what I'm doing is right. Now, I do this a lot after I play a round of golf, whether I've played good or bad. But particularly, even if I'm playing well, I go out and I'll hit a few shots, making sure that I understand that what I'm doing is right, and I understand why I'm doing it. And I don't go out there and hit 500 balls. I might go out and hit 15 shots, I might go out and hit 50 shots, I might hit 5 shots. When I understand it, I've practiced with a purpose, and I get away from it. You ever seen that guy in the practice tee? I'm sure you probably have. Well, he's getting exercise, not practice. And when I go to the practice tee, I want to try to accomplish something. I want to practice with a purpose. And when I say practice with a purpose, I want to practice as though I'm playing a shot on a golf course. After all, that's where I'm going to use the shot. So let's think about how we're going to practice. Well, how are we going to approach a ball? I approach the ball from the rear. I come up to it. I've picked out a spot in front of me. I line up down the line of the target. I take my time and make a nice smooth swing and try to remain on balance. Now I'm accomplishing something here. Whether I'm warming up for the round, whether I'm correcting a fault, or whether I'm grooving my swing, I'm trying to accomplish something when I practice. Well, there we are, golf my way. This marvelous game has given me tremendous enjoyment and fulfillment in my life, and it's always a pleasure to try to help other people get more fun and satisfaction from it. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and the very best of luck to you in all your